Welcome. We're glad you are able to join us today for our first Kin School Champions for Change breakfast. This is a great turnout. So today we want to pause and to showcase some of what the Kin School is doing. We hope that this is an annual event where we can share the highlights of what is happening in the Kin School, the impact that we're having in our community, our state, and beyond. All of this will still get you out of here by 9 a.m. Before anything else happens, I want to welcome our university president, Dr. Neeli Bendapudi, up to this podium to say a few words to start our show.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am so happy to see you all here today. How exciting to have such a great turnout, David, for your first Champions for Change. A couple of us at this table were talking about, last night I was at the Ali Center Awards, the Humanitarian Awards, and listening to, first of all, the incredible change that all these people are making, young people all over the world, just was so inspirational. And when I think about where will that next level of social change, fight for social justice, people who care about ourselves, of course, nobody's looking for martyrs, but who also know that they have to care beyond themselves. This is the school that comes to mind. And I come from, every school I've been at has had a proud tradition of a very, very strong school of social work. School of Social Welfare, it was called in some places, but whatever the name, really strong programs. And I am so delighted here that we continue that tradition. We really have a gem in the Kent School of Social Work. So, you know by now, or you should have, I've said it enough times, that I say at the University of Louisville, above all, for our students, we will be a great place to learn. And for our people, we'll be a great place to work. And for everybody in the community, we'll be a great place in which to invest. And today, your being here shows me that you realize that. I wanted to say a couple more things. I'm going to do that test again, by the way. Those of you in the back, I'm watching you. So what I want you to remember is words are cheap. When I say we'll be a great place to learn, work, and invest, I've also added on that it's because we celebrate diversity. It's only because we celebrate diversity. We will be a great place to learn, work, and invest only because we foster equity. And we'll be a great place to learn, work, and invest only because we strive for inclusion. These are our bedrock principles. And I want you to know that the Kent School delivers in spades on all of these dimensions. First of all, a great place to learn. I hope the dean will show up a little more. He will. I know him. We'll give you more details about what's happening here. Wonderful things at the school. But the fact that every one of your graduates graduated with Latin honors, is that right? It's in 2018. That's what my numbers say. So it was like very impressive. And then, great place to learn. I've interacted with your students. I am so impressed with each and every one of them. It's a great place to work because when we talk about not just teaching excellence, but research, this school is one of the strongest in terms of the grants that we receive. And that's great. That is really wonderful, something we applaud. And clearly it's a great place in which to invest because all of you took time to be here. So whether you're here because you mentor our students, whether you support our scholarships, whether you step up your time, talent, treasure, we'll take it all. We are really, really grateful for you. We're really grateful for you because above all your time, when you tell us you care enough about our faculty, our staff, and students, when you are here, it means a lot to us. And I want to add one more thing. One more secret weapon you have. David, you might need to close your ears here for just a little bit. There you go. All right. You have an amazing dean. You really do. All right, you're off the hook now. I mean that so sincerely. I really mean that. It matters. The tone at the top truly matters. have seen, I've worked with so many deans, and I can unequivocally say that this is somebody I say we need to support, we need to nurture, and we need to retain for a long, long time to come, because he really cares about the school, really cares. He's ambitious for the school. That's the right thing. That it's ambitious for all the people that we serve through what we are doing. Your mission, I don't have to tell you. This is preaching to the choir at its finest. You know that what you do has never been more important than today. Just look around. Just look around. We are the ones that have to say, we step up to be the champions for change. We've got to be stepping up for champions for change. So first, we care about our university, because I think it was Rabbi Hillel who said, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? But if I'm only for myself, what am I? So here we want to create a sense of community where our students learn to take care of themselves. That's important. But they also realize that to be a good human in this world means that you care about much more than just yourself. And the Kent School embodies that more than any other school I can think of. My apologies for being a few minutes late. I love being in Louisville. I do not care for the allergies. I am really struggling this week. So I appreciate it, and thank you for being here. And let's make it a point to make this a very great tradition. Next year, you show up and bring somebody with you. That's the deal, all right? Thank you so very much, and go Cards.
Thank you, Dr. Bendapudi. Your check's in the mail. Dr. Bendapudi, we really do appreciate you, the change you bring to this campus, the initiatives that you started with us, the impressive changes, and your continued support of the Kent School of Social Work. We're very grateful for you. I didn't introduce myself when I stepped up a while ago. I am David Jenkins, the Dean of the Kent School. 3 years ago, I stepped into this position and learned rather quickly what an amazing team that I was joining. Team Kent, as we refer to ourselves. I think it was Dr. Martin Hall that made sure I caught that early on in my career here. And absolutely, one of the best parts of my job is getting to tell the story about what Kent is up to. I get to show the impact we're having on important issues, critical issues like offering better care for our elderly population, helping to end human trafficking, improving services for individuals with cancers and HIV and other diseases, better serving those touched and impacted by the criminal justice system, and helping to treat those touched with addiction, trauma, or marginalized in other ways. And strengthening families, big part of what we do, whether through parenting education, preparing kids and teachers to work more productively in schools, or expressed emotion and suicide disclosure, and offering couple and family counseling. We do a lot of different things, and these are social justice issues that are important to every one of us and impact every one of us, our loved ones, our communities, our nation. We're working on these issues, and we're making a difference in Louisville and beyond. As you may or may not be aware, the Kent School over the past decade has been one of the faster growing units on campus. Our graduate program is one of the larger programs on campus, and much of that growth came as a result of our decision early on to embrace online education. We caught on to that wave pretty early, and we've been fairly successful with that part of our growth. We continue to push and find new ways to meet the needs of our students. Some examples include two new specializations in our graduate program, one in forensic social work and the other in leadership and management. We will continue to evolve and change as our market changes also. As the Kent School has continued to move forward, one of the bigger areas of growth for us has been in undergraduate education. We are one of the biggest growing units right now at the undergraduate level. We think we're doing a better job of getting that message out about what is social work, that nagging image problem we have because people don't understand what we do or they have a very limited understanding of what a social worker does. And we've also combined that with a recent addition of online options at the undergraduate level. We're one of the first to offer a complete online opportunity at the undergraduate level. Again, we think those things are all positive, meeting the needs of our students. Part of my vision here at the Kent School has been to strengthen our doc program. We know that one of the only ways deans and directors are familiar with a school like the Kent School is from our doc graduates as they interview or join these faculties at other universities. Since my fellow deans of social work participate in the rankings that are so persuasive and influential out there, the U.S. News and World Report, we know that building our doc program is critical to changing and strengthening that perception of the Kent School to others. To help us identify some of those needed changes, we've hired a national expert consultant to join us to look at our program, our curriculum, our scholarships, our research opportunities for doc students, and help us to figure out what other ways can we strengthen and improve the program. I'm excited to see what changes we can come up with at the doc level. I'm also excited that we have a new independent master's program in family therapy that's about to be finally approved, Emma. We'll just say about. For many years, we offered a specialization at the graduate level in couples and family therapy. However, we knew early on that these students were taking so many additional hours that they were only 1 hour short of getting a completely separate degree in another area in addition to their master's in social work. So we listened and we came up with a proposal. That proposal has inched its way through all the approval levels and is now with the Board of Trustees awaiting some final approvals. We will offer the couples and family therapy degree as a separate freestanding degree, but also as a dual degree option for our Masters of Social Work students who want that specialization in family therapy. It's an exciting little change to the Kent School arsenal. As many of you know, our internships or field education is a critical and mandatory part of what we do in social work education. That means we have hundreds of students each semester that are providing thousands of hours of valuable services to Kentucky residents and beyond. Our students regularly joke that we should not ignore their free labor. It should not go unnoticed. Several of our field partners are here this morning, and we are grateful for your partnership. The Kent School leads the campus in this type of community engagement, as our college has the highest number of community partnerships. Again, it's another fine example of the Kent School being a leader on campus. I want to now pause and just mention a few things about our research. Dr. Bendapudi mentioned that. We're quite successful in that way. Kent faculty are engaged in a wide area of research topics, impacting many different groups of individuals, families, and communities. We think of our research as falling into 4 main areas. The first and biggest is children and families. Second, health and mental health disparities. Third, older adults or aging. And finally, communities, organizations, and systems is sort of a bigger area. So let me tell you a little bit about some of the projects that we're doing in each of those areas. Let's start with children and families. As you imagine, this is a big one for us. Some examples of projects include parental involvement of our non-residential fathers, the Fatherhood Project that you may have heard about in Louisville, LGBT adolescent health, teen pregnancy prevention, co-concurrence of substance use and child maltreatment. A second area is health and mental health disparities. Some projects include interpersonal and cultural factors influencing adjustment to cancer, use of computerized cognitive behavioral therapy for treatment of depression. Our third area is older adults and aging, an area that social work has continually dominated. We have projects such as health and quality of life for incarcerated older adults. We have a quality of life for those with dementia and for their caregivers, those dyads. And finally, the communities, organizations, and systems. We're doing workforce interventions in the child welfare workforce turnover issue and also in the interventions for geriatrics. The role of social media also is something we're looking at as we try to transform social norms and attitudes through the methods that our young people are using more frequently. These are just a few examples of the projects, the funding that we have received for projects in the Kent School. Our total amount of externally sponsored research awards is large. One of the things I take pride in is though Kent is one of the smaller units on campus, the deans of those larger units come up to me and ask me, "What are you doing to be so successful?" And I don't tell them. We annually have 6 to 7 million in externally funded research projects. In 2018, that hit $9.3 million. I'm proud to report our total portfolio of research in 2018 was $31.4 million. That's an outstanding total that compares to the most prestigious and successful social work programs in the country. As you can tell, we're a unit that's making a difference with our research. We have highly engaged faculty who are successful at convincing those funders our work makes a difference and addressing real-world problems. You're probably sitting among some of those researchers right here at your tables this morning. On a related note, I want to offer an update about our LaRocca Endowed Chair in Oncology. The LaRocca Endowed Chair is a unique one in this country in social work, as we specifically look at cancer and how it impacts those around it. Doc students and master's students specifically seek out and select the Kent School to be a part of this important work. And it makes sense to offer this type of opportunity here in Kentucky, since we do have the highest rate of new cancer cases each year. We're currently in a national search for a new person to step into the position, as Dr. Karen Kaiser is retiring next year. In her time here, Dr. Kaiser has set up excellent training opportunities and a wonderful mentoring program teaching social workers to step into the many aspects of oncology services. Karen, thank you for your impact, for laying the groundwork, and for setting up this important work so it continues for years to come. We also want to thank Dr. Wren and Lisa LaRocca for your support and continued efforts with the Kent School. The endowed chair in your name is a game changer. You have been highly instrumental in making a difference on the topic of cancer. We believe this impact will continue for years to come. Let me wrap up by just saying thank you. Thank you to all of you for being allies, supporters, friends of the Kent School. Thank you to our faculty and staff for all you do to make it so easy for me to brag and tell our story, to share the great things we're doing to impact our community. And thank you to our students, some of you here this morning. You're the future of our profession. Go out and make us proud. And thanks to you, our donors that are here. We hope you know how much we appreciate you and how you make a difference. Thank you for believing in us, believing in what we do. I now want to welcome one of our most productive and impactful scholars to the podium, Dr. Andy Fry, to come tell us about his work.
Thank you very much. Andy Fry, I'm a professor here at the Kent School. I've been asked to share a little bit about my research agenda, which I'm happy to do because I like to talk about my research, and I'm honored to be able to do it in this venue. The research agenda focuses on children with challenging behavior and improving academic and behavioral outcomes, primarily within the public schools. And my research agenda happens in a large team context, from those at the university level with grants management. Within the Kent School, we have the research department and we have our business ops. There's a full-time staff involved on my projects, part-time data collectors, and interventionists. And the public schools are critical to the work that we do, from the administrators to the teachers and the parents and the children that we work with and serve on their behalf. And a number of senior investigators, largely at the University of Oregon, for whom this work would never have happened. Just grateful to all of those people. So when I share a little bit about this research, please know that this is not only my research agenda, but it's a large team, and it just can't happen without all these pieces being super functional. I was going to share a little bit about 3 ongoing projects. They're all funded by the Institute for Education and Sciences. That's the research arm of the U.S. Department of Education. The first one is a 5-year trial that we're looking at the effectiveness of the First Step Next intervention in preschool settings. So First Step Next intervention is an intervention that involves direct social skills to children. There's a classroom management component. There's a parent engagement component. What we've done in that particular project, we recruit one child. Typically, we're looking for the most challenging child within a classroom setting. And after we recruit and consent parents, we collect baseline data. We're primarily looking to reduce challenging behavior and increase social skills, and then more broadly, kindergarten readiness skills. We implement the intervention with roughly half of those participants that are randomized to an intervention or a business as usual condition. The intervention takes 2 to 3 months to implement. We collect post-test data. We have a within-year follow-up data. In the kindergarten year, we track them down, and they're usually in all kinds of different schools by that point. Then we have a very brief booster session that we offer for those kids in the intervention group, and then we collect data a final time. It's a 1-year follow-up within kindergarten. It's been a really fun project. A little over half the interventions are implemented in Kentucky, and the others in multiple sites across the country. And one of the most important, most exciting findings in that study is our 1-year follow-up outcomes are really promising. It's not unusual for behavior, for interventions like this, to show a pretty dramatic effect immediately following the intervention. It's much more difficult to show positive effects that sustain a year out once kids have gone over the summer not being in school and then are located in another classroom. And just last week, the Department of Education reached out to us and asked if we would submit a proposal to do a supplement and track those students through 3rd grade, and this is in a non-competitive process. So they've taken a real interest in this work, and it's been noticed. So we're working hard to get that accomplished, and thrilled for that opportunity. A second intervention, a second project it has some similar pieces in that the First Step Next intervention is part of it, but we're also looking at the effectiveness of a positive parenting program that is based on motivational interviewing, which is a clinical counseling technique that's been used in other settings very effectively, but not so much in education. And so this study has a similar design and similar people involved in it, but it is in the elementary schools. We recruit children from kindergarten through 3rd grade, and the data collection points are pretty similar, although there's 4 conditions with a First Step Next only, home base only, both, and then a business as usual. And that work has been equally as successful. We're showing good outcomes with regard to improvement in social skills, decreases in challenging behavior. We've not only been in JCPS, but we've been in Greater Clark County schools, and most recently we've expanded to Fayette County schools, so we're pretty excited about that collaboration. The final project that I wanted to talk about is one that was just been funded within the last couple of months. This is with a colleague of mine, Terry Scott, at the College of Education here at the University of Louisville, and we've leveraged the work we've learned about using motivational interviewing to influence parent behavior, and we have received a development and innovation grant to create a training to work with instructional coaches. Those are people that are within the school system that work with teachers to improve their instructional practices, and so we're creating a training to find out if helping those people learn motivational interview skills for developing relationships and influencing teacher behavior makes a contribution just beyond regular coaching alone. So that's a project that's just getting off the ground, but it's super exciting. We think that line of research will be very promising, and really look forward to it. So hopefully this brief overview gives you a sense of what some of that work involves, who it involves, and who it benefits, and can't thank you enough for the opportunity to share it with you. We're going to turn our attention to a video. Our grant work is important, of course. Scholarships are also super important and have a huge impact on the community. And as we watch this video, just want you to think about the impact that those scholarships allow our students primarily to have upon our community. Thank you.
So I wanted to go into social work to make a difference to people by showing them what resources are available to help make treatments affordable, and also to really help them through the tough times in their lives.
My husband was in the military for 30 years, so I was part of family support group programs and family team building programs, so it just seemed a natural direction for me to go into social work and see how I could help support and empower, advocate other people.
I was in undergrad at Murray State, and my plan for my whole life was to be a therapist. I just didn't know how to make that happen. So I actually met with one of my professors who told me about the Kent School program, and I kind of had that aha moment of like, that's what I need to do.
I chose the Kent School because whenever I was looking for different master's programs for the social work field, I noticed that not very many had the psychosocial oncology specialization. There were some that had the medical specialization, but very few delved into the world of oncology.
And when I found out what a wonderful and academically excellent school, Kent School of Social Work was, it was just the right fit.
We train our students in the community. They work in community settings such as substance and addiction centers, hospitals, schools, family service agencies, community mental health centers. We want our students, our graduates, to go back into those settings, to give back to the community what they have learned. But if they're carrying a large amount of debt, they're going to have to seek out probably the private sector in order to pay off their debt.
I work with a lot of kids who are either returning home or going into foster care and states care, so I do a lot of family therapy. And so having that CFT background has really helped me to hone in on those skills of figuring out, what needs to change at home, how do we make these relationships between kiddos and parents better, and just look at things in a systemic way.
I have a great job right now, and I do work with the older population as a long-term care ombudsman, and that has enabled me to empower residents of long-term care facilities, advocate on their behalf, make sure they're being taken care of in the nursing homes.
I chose the specialization because my brother, whenever I was 4, actually passed away from leukemia, and then my mom actually, horribly ironically, within the process of this program, was also diagnosed with lymphoma. So it's been kind of a big part of my life, and it's an area where I'd love to give back.
Many of these students were carrying a great deal of debt. They complained about the high cost of tuition. They're having difficulty balancing work and their studies, working longer hours, and they couldn't concentrate full-time in many ways on their program.
I think one of the best things about receiving a scholarship is the peace of mind it provides.
This scholarship is helping me because, like I said, my mom has lymphoma, and so while she would love to help me out as much as she can, I really don't think that I should put her in that type of position.
All the scholarships really helped me out. I mean, I figure they are a really big part of what kept me in school. There's a lot of times where I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to continue because, I just didn't have the funds.
I feel better about myself. It's more rewarding for me to spend money on someone else than it is myself. And I'm not alone in that. I'm hoping that faculty and alumni and friends will join our campaign because I know it'll make direct impact on the success of those students, and it'll improve the life of our community both locally and nationally.
I'm really excited to really just explore the entire scope of social work and see where I go in the future.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Teresa Vale, and first I'd like to thank the Kent School of Social Work and Dean Jenkins for inviting me to speak. I just want to share a little bit about my experience as a student at Kent School. I was living in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates in 2015 with my husband, and I was not really enjoying the lifestyle. It was pretty boring, and I felt I needed to do something that was more rewarding, for myself as well as beyond myself. I wanted to have a purpose. So I decided to enroll at the Kent School of Social Work, and I took online classes for 1 semester, and then I moved here, and it's been wonderful ever since. My first encounter with anyone at Kent School was Lori O'Hare, and I walked out of the door after my meeting with her, and it was just the perfect feeling of peace and knowing that I was in the right place. The Kent School has been like a family to me. I was fortunate to receive 2 scholarships, the Sheila Stevens Scholarship as well as the Denny Matamora Scholarship, and both of those helped pay for my master's degree, and I graduated in May with that. Again, as I said in the video, the peace of mind it gives you, not stressing about having to pay back so much money or where you're going to get that money is beyond understanding. It just allows you to focus on your school studies, on your courses, on your research, which is, boy, that was a tough class. I had a great teacher there in research class, Dr. Atwood, and she was such a good role model. And like all of the instructors at the Kent School, so supportive. She met with us outside of classroom time and just, you know, worked with us every week to help get us through that research class. But I think the family feeling and just the non-judgmental classrooms, the whole environment that the faculty as well as the fellow students create is just engenders, you know, the feeling that everybody is free to explain their own experiences without judgment, without censorship, because we all come from so many different places. We've had so many different experiences, and they're all different and they're all valued. Another thing that the scholarship enabled me to do was to validate what I was going through and to kind of reward my hard work. So it validates what you're doing and just kind of spurs you on to do even more. I had 2 internships. My first internship during my BSW was with Elderserve, which is a great program. I had a wonderful faculty instructor there, Diane Feltham. If you ever run across her, say thank you, because she is a wonderful social worker and role model. My second internship was with the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, and that is under Catholic Charities, and that is where I'm currently employed. They hired me after graduation in May. And for those of you who don't know about the Ombudsman Program, because I didn't before, and it is a program, it's a federal program, and every state has their own program, and our goal is to advocate for residents in long-term care facilities. I was just telling one of my table mates about one of our volunteers. We have about 20 volunteers on our program. One of our volunteers, Kay Gunderson, is a graduate of the Kent School of Social Work, and she is probably in her mid-80s, and she volunteers every week as an advocate for residents at one of the long-term care facilities, and she is inspirational, and again, 85 and doing great social work out there. So thank you, Kent School. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shauna Golder, and I'm the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs for the Kent School. Scholarships have a tremendous impact on our students' experience and their ability to earn an education. These scholarships not only impact the students' lives, but those in the community in which they serve. At this time, we'd like to recognize our alumni scholarships, donors, and the recipients of these prestigious awards. Please stand when your name is called and remain standing. I'm going to state the donors and then the awards. The Bridge to Opportunity Award provided by Bill Wagner, and this award is to be awarded at a later date. Camp Edwards, provided by Barbara Ferguson and the class of 1969. Elizabeth Mwanga. Centerstone Scholar, Aisha Johnson. CFT Summer Awards, Frances Mikan, Emily Atkins, Donghung Zhang, and Maria Landeros. Compassionate Scholars Award provided by Henry Lucas, Larry Watson. Ed Wench Scholars Fund, Angelique Asenbray. Elaine C. Payne Award provided by Daryl Payne. Elizabeth Mwanga. Elizabeth, just keep standing. I'm the Change Alumni Scholarship provided by the Kent Alumni Council. Elizabeth Mwanga. The Jeanette Comer Noel Award provided by Noel Rowan, and that will be announced in spring 2020. Jenny Hertz CFT Scholarship provided by Judy Curry. Rajenko Machinga. Joe and Carolyn Brown Endowed Scholarship. Rajenko Machinga. Lillian Milanoff, provided by Joe Peralt. Shane Blackburn. Nia, provided by Keith McKenzie. Jakira Ferguson. Russell Loudon Scholarship, Holden Dillman. Ruth Malcolm Endowment, Kaylee Corfage and Heather Riley. Sheila Stevens Scholarship in Gerontology, Vicki Stone. Terry and Nancy Singer Scholarship, Samantha Schwindel. VOA Scholars, Sydney Vandeveer, Jeremiah Ritchie. Please give these donors and award recipients a round of applause. Due to the generosity of our donors, the Kent School is able to award approximately $275,000 in scholarships this year. Thank you so much for supporting our students in this community.
Thank you, Shauna. Now we're going to do a first-time thing that we've never done before, and this is the Dean's Distinguished Alumni Award. So we were searching for a way to come with some kind of specific way for the Kent School to honor someone for their life work. And this is what we came up with. So let me read you this year's recipient of the Dean's Distinguished Alumni Award. Ed Weis. Ed Weis Jr. is a graduate of the Kent School from 1969. He's a Louisville native. Ed attended high school at St. X and received his undergraduate degree at Bellarmine in psychology. The oldest son of 10 children, Ed spent a brief period of time working for his family business. Realizing this particular industry, and sales specifically, were not what he felt was his calling, he broke away from the family business. Not an easy task in his family, and found a job working for the Department of Public Assistance. And Ed's brother, the second-born son, was a perfect fit for that sales position in the family business. It was while in that job at Public Assistance that Ed learned about social work and decided to pursue a graduate degree from the Kent School. He was able to attend under the assistance of a work-study program that paid for his school while he kept his job. That worked well for a young man wanting to pay his bills while he went to school. During his time as a student at the Kent School in the great class of 1969, he helped establish the National Federation of Student Social Workers in Kentucky, as well as helped to bring leadership curriculum, a few courses, into the curriculum, something that was missing back in the 1960s. Ed says their curriculum back then was mostly about casework with little attention to the macro or administrative part of our work. Ed was ahead of his time on part of this topic. It is through Ed's work in the National Federation of Student Social Workers that he met his wife, Joanne, also a social worker, who was a student at another university who happened to be attending and volunteering the same conference as Ed. Ed enjoyed telling me the story about how he found a way to ask for directions from Joanne that required her to walk him around. Ed's career touched many aspects of social work throughout the state of Kentucky. As Ed graduated, he went to work in the Office of Public Assistance in Hazard County. Think Dukes of Hazzard. Here he worked closely with the Director of State Food Stamps to implement greater access for rural residents to pick up assistance with greater ease. These residents often experience obstacles in having adequate transportation to arrive to the office to even participate in the program. Ed helped fix that problem. When Ed moved to the central office in Frankfort, he was involved in the development and implementation of a nursing care program called Intermediate Care Program. Ed was the first supervisor of that program and was integrally involved in how services in nursing facilities were tied to public assistance, like Medicare and Medicaid. Programs like intermediate care helped set the guidelines for care in nursing facilities and was important in shaping our appropriate treatment for older people in institutions. Ed was also closely involved in the establishment and implementation of Kentucky's Child Support Program. As we know, these programs are commonplace now across the country and are instrumental in the care of young people. Ed was the program's first supervisor. Ed was also actively engaged with a state organization called Tenure. That group advocated for better benefits and professional training for state employees. Across his years of involvement with Tenure, Ed served as a board member, treasurer, president, and for the final 15 years of the program, he served as the executive director. You might say Ed gets involved. Ed retired in 1999 as the staff assistant to the director of the Division of Family Support at the Cabinet of Human Resources in Frankfurt. Today, Ed organizes monthly the class of 1969 lunches with his classmates from the Kent School. It was a group I was told I had to meet when I first arrived here, and I did. Ed also has regular lunches with some of his St. X classmates, and he organizes other lunches too. You might say Ed likes to eat. Ed and Joanne have 2 children, a daughter Colleen and her son Brian. Colleen is also a Kent graduate and operates her own private therapy practice in the area. Ed and Joanne have 3 grandchildren, Lily, Tristan, and Walter, whom they love getting to care for and spend time with. Ed continues to have an active and engaged relationship with the University of Louisville and specifically with the Kent School. Today, we honor Ed as the first recipient of the Dean's Distinguished Alumni Award. Ed, can you come forward? Absolutely. Stay up here. Don't leave. Okay. For the next thing, we were planning to honor members of the 1969 graduating class. But guess what? It's cruise season. Almost all of the group is away today and traveling internationally. So we have a small representation of the class of 1969. Let me hand off now to Ashley Downs, the Kent Alumni President, to present this recognition.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Ashley Downs, and I'm the Kent School Alumni President. So you ask, what is a Golden Alumni? These alumni will be celebrating their 50th anniversary of graduation from the University of Louisville's Kent School of Social Work. As we previously mentioned, Ed Weis still organizes his class meetings. We would like to recognize their induction to the Golden Alumni Society with this gold lapel pin. Congratulations to the class of 1969.
Is that all?
That's it. That's it, Ed. I made sure not allow Ed to talk because Ed would be here all morning talking. He likes those long lunches to visit. Yeah, so in theory, there was going to be a big old class of 1969 coming up here for those cardinal pins, and they just went elsewhere. So I'll never recognize them again. Right now, I'd like to introduce Lynetta Mathis, our Director of Field Education at the Kent School.
Good morning, everyone. It is so good to be in a room full of promising social workers of the future and the mentors, the scholarship donors, and the faculty who are supporting them. So glad that you all are here today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about field education and why it's really so important in social work education. The Council on Social Work Education recognized field education as the signature pedagogy of social work education. Field education is one of the cornerstones of social work education, serving as a place of integration of knowledge and practice in developing competent social work professionals. As a practice-based profession, social work education requires classroom learning and field learning. In the field, students are provided rich learning experiences and opportunities to expand their knowledge about the profession, about themselves, and through practice under the guidance of experienced mentors. By working with clients and interacting with other social workers and other professionals, students learn to apply theory to practice, consider the impact of the societal and organizational context on social work practice, while at the same time they develop the social work values, ethics, critical thinking, and practice skills necessary for quality social work practice with individuals, families, groups, organizations, and the community at large. Social work education is not complete without field education, and that requires the collaboration of community partners. Currently, the Kent School places approximately 490 undergraduate and graduate students in a given year. We have over 700 placement sites locally, nationally, and internationally. Some we use more frequently than others. Some organizations accept one student at a time. Some organizations accept 2, 3, 10 students at a time. And the number of our community partners accepting students increases every year. This past year, students collectively provided 208,752 hours of service to individuals, families, groups, communities, and organizations. The economic value of these services that the students say they're providing for free is approximately $4 million a year. The University of Louisville is able to give back to the community as our students learn and grow. The students are able to do this learning under strong, competent mentors. Today, I'd like to recognize our Lifetime Service Award to field instructors who have given social work instruction for 15 years or more to our Kent School students. This award is an acknowledgement of the tremendous contribution made by field instructors to the professional development of social workers. Field instructors are dedicated individuals who, while fulfilling their regular work responsibilities, take the extra time to mentor our students. They provide instruction, consultation, and supervision above all of their other responsibilities to meet our students' needs, monitor their progress, ensure the students are providing quality service. In helping to prepare future social workers, field instructors help also to build capacity in their organizations. They contribute to the development of our future workforce, and they give back to the social work profession in this way. For these reasons, the Kent School recognizes the following individuals for their years of service and extends deep appreciation for their commitment to the professional development of future social workers. Several of these social workers we have followed across their career from agency to agency. Once you're a field instructor for Kent, we do not let you go. I find you wherever you go. As your name is called, please stand and remain standing. Please hold applause until the last name is called. Lisa Arvig Harsh, Tish Brookings, Nancy Capizano, Ellen Kelly, Diane Kincaid, Kevin Nakamus, Susan Lawson, Deborah McMurray, Jerry Morgan, Andy Patterson, Kim Peabody, Laura Provis, Tamara Rife, Deborah Ress, Kelly Sherlucky, Debbie Slagle Pike, Becky Smith. Thank you all for your service. Let's give them a round of applause. You may be seated. Now let's take a watch at a video about the impact of field education.
ChildPlace has 5 different programs within the agency. So we provide residential services where kids come and live with us. And we have foster care services, so we license the families, but we also work with kids who are in foster care. We have adoption services, so we do all types of adoptions. We also do home studies. We have home-based services, which we do therapy and case management, and we also do counseling services, which include master level therapists, of psychiatrists, and we see kids and adults in those. Specifically at ChildPlace, I oversee our residential department, and I also oversee our counseling department, which is where the majority of our practicum students, where they work in. And so I actually graduated from the Kent School and I did my practicum at ChildPlace, and I just like to say I never left. And I'm so thankful for that experience, just because it really prepared me for the field and prepared me for the work that I'm doing now. So how it works at ChildPlace is every kid who's in our residential department also participates in counseling through our counseling department. And so our practicum students are able to sit in on those sessions, they're able to do co-therapy with our therapists and help lead those sessions. And we also identify kids on campus who just lack a lot of support and who just really need somebody to help them. And so our practicum students work with their therapist, but also then we'll work with that resident on one-on-one on just some different goals to just help them further their treatment. Well, one of the greatest things that we've seen in a positive way is really it just helps form healthy relationships with our kids, so they're able to model those healthy relationships, they're able to give that additional support. And a lot of our residents really, they'll ask like, oh, is the student, are they going to be in my family team meeting? Or they'll go to the student when they need just extra services or just extra help. We've seen practicum students have positive impacts in teaching social skills or teaching anger management. We had a student once do a mindfulness group, and so just seeing them teach those skills to our residents, but then our residents implementing those skills is really cool and really beneficial to see. So we tell our students all the time, you really are making a difference in the lives of these residents because you're teaching them skills and then they're using them. They're able to get that hands-on real life experience, and I think that helps them more gear them towards what they want to do after graduation. What motivates me is I believe that we're doing good work, and I believe that we're helping kids and we are equipping them for the future. And so when we get to see that when after they've left here and they come back and they tell us really good things, that's just something that continually motivates me, is that we can really help heal these kids and help prepare them for their future.
Here at the Senior Center, where my office is based, half the folks are below poverty level. Many of them are caring for friends, neighbors, grandchildren. So they need assistance with perhaps food, bill payment. They might need emotional support. There's really a variety of things that we can help with. And sometimes we get calls. We'll make home visits in the community. People generally call for one reason, but there is usually a multiple things going on. So my job is to provide care management to the folks who come to the Senior Center every day. It's a community center, so we have folks coming for exercise, computer classes, all different kinds of things like that. It's nice having the practicum students here. Here at the Senior Center, having young people here is a really neat dynamic, but it's really neat to see the rapport start to develop. We've had interns do programs with our arthritis exercise. Our most recent intern did a program to kick off home delivery of senior commodities. So they have done a good job of kind of finding a niche and really getting to know folks. The interns have really added a depth, I think, to the program that we didn't have before. And seeing them from the beginning to the end is pretty amazing. As a student here at Elderserve, they're going to get exposed to the senior center. They're going to see home visits. They'll learn about the senior companion program. We have a friendly visitor program, a telephone reassurance program. We have court social workers. We also have crime victim services. So it really runs a real continuum of all different kinds of things. So students that come here can get a really broad experience.
So I was a practicum student with our Adult Day program. So I got to work a lot with the clients who come there Monday through Friday to have that sort of structured activity when their caregivers or families don't feel comfortable leaving them alone. So I got to work with them on a lot of daily activities, just really doing fun things with them throughout the day, arts and crafts, bingo, different things like that, as well as going out into the community for people who weren't sure if they needed that service, and sort of helping families go through the steps of what that looks like and how to get started with it.
Really, it's at Kent School you learn all the techniques of how to interact with clients. You know what the best service delivery system is. You're going to know how to start building that rapport. But until you actually face those clients, there's no way that you're going to know how to actually do the social work that you need to.
We help people who are in crisis, individuals and families, to help get them stable and help them to reach some of their goals, and a lot of that involves having their own homes. A lot of our people are homeless. The main thing I've been doing the last 3.5 years is doing individual therapy, doing group therapy, and also working with students. A couple of things that I like for the students to always do is get connected with other agencies in the city, attend training. We've got several trainings that I really like for all the students to go to. One is in November, University of Louisville, on depression. They go to the Stand Down, which basically is connecting all the organizations, agencies in town who work with the homeless, and that's an all-day situation. They do the homeless countdown, so they go out 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and run around looking for the people who are homeless. So a lot of hands-on experience. The biggest things for the clients is the students listen to them and give them more time. And many of our people that we work with, they just need to be heard. And so they can spend a lot more time with the clients than staff can.
It again took the learning out of the classroom. You know, you can do as much as you can with book learning and the things that you learn, which were very valuable, but also it kind of puts it into practice here. I'm able to get the actual experience, learn what I wanted to do as a practitioner, and what kind of field I wanted to work in and over the years and the different things that I've done. And it's brought me back here and really like the population and the work that we do here.
I think my most positive experiences have been in working with people with different diagnoses and moving past the idea of seeing somebody as a diagnosis and more toward just those little experiences that help give you a fuller idea of where somebody's coming from and all the different factors in their life. And so I think just those humanizing moments, those would be some of my favorite moments at St. Vincent. Whenever I've worked with practicum students before and given them advice, the best thing I know is when you come to practicum, expect to get your hands dirty, and the best way to do it is just dive in, and you come at such and such time. Basically, it's every day is an adventure, and then just coming in with that mentality, and then at the end of the day, you go home. But just the idea that you're ready for every day to be an adventure.
Kent School could not provide a quality education without all of our community partners. This year, we would like to recognize 3 organizations for their long-term collaboration with the Kent School. These 3 organizations were selected for their commitment in providing a real-world learning lab for our students, their willingness to accept multiple students in a given year, and their ability and willingness to work with both undergraduate and graduate students. As you saw in the video, our community partners not only have a significant impact in the community, but they have a significant impact on the lives of our students. At this time, I'd like to ask the representatives from ChildPlace to please stand. Thank you, Melissa Wilson. I'd like to ask representatives from Elderserve to please stand. Thank you. And then representatives from the St. Vincent DePaul, please stand. Thank you. These are just a representative of all the wonderful agencies that we are so grateful for their capacity and willingness to work with us, and we look forward to many more years of working with you. Thank you.
Well, I didn't say Eastern time, would be out by 9 o'clock Central time. So thank you for attending. This is the end of our program, our inaugural Champions for Change breakfast. We know it was early. We know you have busy schedules and lives, and we are grateful you squeezed us into your day. We greatly appreciate all that you do to support the Kent School, and we look forward to seeing you again next year. Good day.